Welcome back to Handguns, where we've been talking about the debate, the age-old debate, I might add, of revolvers versus semi-automatics. And as we were discussing before, one thing that I am willing to give the revolver is that the manual of arms of the revolver might be a little more simple than, say, the semi-auto like a 1911. I would agree with that. But what we haven't talked about is like the modern day striker-fired semi-auto, which is essentially, in my opinion, for the most part, a semi-automatic revolver in the way that it operates. It's got no levers, got no safeties. All I do is I take it out of the holster, I aim it at the target, finger on the trigger, press the shot. When I'm done shooting, finger off, just like a revolver, and put it away.
Well, while those are simple, they're not as simple as a revolver. A revolver, you want to load it, pop the cylinder out, throw the rounds in, close the cylinder. That's it. There's no slide to work. If you've got arthritis or weak hands, you know that sometimes that can be a gigantic pain. And even though the striker-fired semi-autos are simple, some of them do have safeties, and they're just not as simple as a revolver. If you're going to carry a revolver, how do you carry it? You carry it loaded. If you're going to carry one of a striker-fired semi-auto, you're going to carry it or put it on a bedside table. Is it going to be loaded? Is it going to be unloaded? Magazine in, magazine out, safety on, safety off, chamber loaded, chamber empty. There's all sorts of different decisions that you have to make. Not quite as simple as a plain old revolver.
Well, those are valid points. One thing we haven't talked about is concealed carry. And so basically when we start talking about that, we have to look at one very important thing, and that'd be basically the width of the firearm. So if I take two guns that are basically the same size, this Ruger LC9 and this Smith & Wesson Bodyguard, I put them up next to one another, you can see that they're pretty much, roughly the same size. But when you look at the width of the firearm, that cylinder really adds about another ½ inch to it. Where if you're going to put something away, I've got 8 rounds of 9mm in this, 5 rounds of 38 in that, and I've got it in a slimmer package.
Well, I do love the compact autos. They're great for carrying, but when I jog, honestly, I carry a revolver. Why? Running, jumping up and down, bouncing back and forth, pocket lint, I'm just not 100% positive that's going to go off. With a revolver, I'm positive up here, and that's mental's a lot of it. Also, it used to be that revolvers were heavy, semi-autos were heavy, and then polymer frame semi-autos came and they were lighter. Well, now we have polymer framed revolvers, so now the weight issue is sort of a wash, and even though we've been talking about double action carry guns, we also have to mention this. Okay, no semi-auto can handle the 500 Smith & Wesson. It's just not possible,
It's just a stronger system. I would definitely not debate that one. Well, you can see Jim and I have been here talking about it. We've made points for this one, points for that one. You can go back and forth, and the reason we're still talking about it, hundreds of years later,
Nothing's been settled.
Nothing's been settled. So, the truth of it is that Jim carries a semi-auto and a revolver, and the truth is I carry a semi-auto and a revolver. So, really what you have to do is you have to look at the situations you're commonly in, what's going to fit that situation, what's going to fit this scenario, and basically just make a decision and go with what works.